Welcome to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, the #1 podcast and resource for Black entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and Black Entrepreneur Blueprint was created specifically to educate and inspire Black entrepreneurs to launch, build, and grow successful, sustainable businesses. Join us as we help build an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. If you're currently an entrepreneur or want to be an entrepreneur, you're invited to join us each and every week here at Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family and get ready to elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint, episode number 612. I'm your host, Jay Jones, and today we have another outstanding and informative show in store for you. Today's show topic is titled Elevation Requires Separation for Entrepreneurs. Elevation requires separation for entrepreneurs. Now, in this episode, I'm going to break down the mindset shift required to rise to the next level in business and in life. So you'll learn why many entrepreneurs remain stuck, some of the hidden costs of staying comfortable, and the practical steps you must take to separate from what's holding you back so you can finally elevate. Now, before we jump into today's show content, let me just share a few things with the Black Entrepreneur Blueprint family. First and foremost, I want to welcome all first-time listeners to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Welcome to the BEB family. Please stick around until the end of today's broadcast, and I'm going to share all my social media contact information and resource links such as getfundingready.com. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for business funding, take this quick 60-second quiz and you'll be able to find out at what stage you're in terms of getting approved for funding. Getfundingready.com. Now, let's get ready for today's show content. I want to make sure that you guys really lock in today. So you want to make sure if you're able to take some notes, take notes. But if you can't take notes, make sure you go to the website, blackentrepreneurblueprint.com, hit on episode number 612, and they're going to be all the show notes. So if you're exercising right now, you're driving in your car, going to work or going wherever, make sure you go to the website and check out the show notes because we always talk about actionable steps. So it's good to listen to content, but you need to listen to content that can give you steps to get from point A to point B. So make sure you guys check out the website and the episode. So today's show topic, elevation requires separation for entrepreneurs. I want to preface today's show by saying to you guys that success as an entrepreneur isn't just about what you build. It's about what you're willing to walk away from. So too many entrepreneurs say they want to elevate, but they refuse to separate from some of the things that are keeping them stuck. So the uncomfortable truth is this, guys. Every level of success requires a different version of you. And becoming that version often requires separation from many things, including people who don't understand your vision, environments that limit your growth, comfort, security, and sometimes even a steady paycheck, and the negative thoughts that keep you playing small. And sometimes that even means separating from versions of yourself that can't go where you're trying to go. So it's about an internal and external change. It's all about the mindset. All right, so now let's talk about some of the key talking points for today's episode. So there's what's called, number one, the law of elevation. Every new level requires a new mindset. Every new level requires a new mindset. The habits that you got here with aren't going to take you where you need to be. Recognize and understand that. The habits that got you where you are won't take you where you need to be. And growth requires intentional change. So it's not something that happens by accident. So you have to work on it. It's intentional. Also, leveling up requires leaving something behind. And sometimes that's hard for entrepreneurs. It could be habits that you're leaving behind. It could be people that you're leaving behind. It's all types of stuff we're going to jump into today. And success isn't just about addition, guys. Many times it's about subtraction. And it's funny, I was talking to my buddy the other day about football. You guys know I'm a big Eagles fan, so I bleed green. And he was talking about A.J. Brown, the receiver, that, was a malcontent pretty much the whole year. And sometimes you can do addition by subtraction. And I talked about, hey, if you get rid of the bad attitude and the malcontent attitude, you may actually become better, even though you're losing a great talent. So remember, guys, success just isn't about addition. It's also about subtraction. And remember, you can't stay the same person and expect a different level of success. That's not going to happen. Okay, so we have to be ready to make that change. And the first place it takes, guys, is the mindset. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is separation from comfort. So many entrepreneurs stay stuck because they're addicted to the comfort and security. All right, so here's the real thing, guys. Your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Nothing grows in your comfort zone. It's only when you go outside of your comfort zone that it enables you to grow. So here's an example of comfort. And I'm not knocking any of these because, hey, trust me, been there, done that. Steady paychecks versus freedom. Safe decisions versus bold moves. And planning versus execution. Comfort, guys, is the silent killer of entrepreneurial greatness. So I talked about the reluctant entrepreneur. I had a good friend of mine who never wanted to be an entrepreneur until he lost his job, right? And so he lost his job. Things were getting bad. And he's asking me, hey, man, how do I do this, this, and this? So I'm trying to help him through. And I'm like, dude, this is what you're going to have to do to be an entrepreneur. And I understand if you've never done it, it can be a daunting task. It can be a daunting task if you've done it before. I'm a perfect example of that. So he's trying all this stuff and he's busting his hump. And I was like, dude, do you really want to be an entrepreneur, or are you just doing this because you don't have a job? And basically he told me that, yeah, I want to be a real entrepreneur. But as soon as he got a job, even though the business he had, he could have done it on the side, he let it go. And basically, I call that a reluctant entrepreneur. That's an entrepreneur who most times probably won't be successful because they really don't want to be an entrepreneur. They want the comfort of, working in corporate America. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to understand, you can't stay the same person and expect a different level of success. All right, so let's talk about real quick now. We talked about separation from comfort. Let's talk about separation from negative influences. And guys, as an entrepreneur, it's tough. Your mindset has to be focused in order to be successful. And anything that's taking you off focus, guess what? You need to eliminate that. So this is something that's very important. So sometimes elevation requires separation from friends or family members with small minds or small thinking. Remember, your vision was given to you. It wasn't given to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, aunts, uncle, wife, husband, partner, whatever. That vision that God gave you was given to you. So you don't expect everybody to understand that vision, okay? You also need to separate from negative influences, which once again may be family members who don't support your vision. And sometimes that lack of support could be envy or jealousy, because a lot of times people are looking at what you're trying to do and are envious that, hey, this guy's going out on a limb. He's going balls to the wall. He's trying to make his dream come true. So that everybody that smiles in your face isn't friendly and doesn't really support you. And also, you want to separate from people who normalize mediocrity. And there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody is built differently. So some people don't want to be an entrepreneur. Some people are happy and comfortable doing what they're doing. So you don't knock that. But you as an entrepreneur, you have to play the game on a different wavelength. And as soon as you recognize and understand that somebody is not on your wavelength, then once again, you have to separate from those negative influences. So here's a key insight, guys. Proximity determines possibility. Proximity determines possibility. So I was watching Mike Epps had a comedy special on Netflix. I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday. And he was talking about, at the end, he was talking about how it was so amazing he got from where he started to where he was, because he said he was delusional. He was delusional in the fact that nobody thought he could be that successful, but he believed it. So he was saying the way he got started was on a dare. He went to an open mic event at a comedy place, and he actually won. And he said that was the start, but he had no formal training as a comedian or anything. But he said the reason that he is successful is because he is delusional. So what you have to understand is you have to guard your thoughts, because everybody you share your thoughts with aren't on the same wavelength. It's funny. I was laying on the couch the other night, and I heard from God, and he told me 3 things. He said, number 1, keep your head down. Number 2, keep your mouth shut. And number 3, follow the course. Keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, and follow the course. That's what I heard in my spirit. And so, as an entrepreneur, we go through trying times. And so when I heard that, once again, some people may think I'm delusional, but that's okay, because you know what? I am. But the only way to be successful is you have to have that belief. Just imagine if you're an athlete and you're about to compete, and in your mind you're saying, you know what? I can't win this. I can't win this 100 meter dash race. I can't win this football game. I can't win this boxing match. Guess what's going to happen? You're not going to win. People may doubt you, but guess what? The key focus is you being believing that you can do it. You being delusional. And that's what's going to make you successful when others aren't. And today, guys, we're talking about elevation requires separation for entrepreneurs. So this is a key thing, guys. We talked about the laws of elevation. We talk about separation from comfort. We just talked about separation from negative influences. And now let's talk about separation from your old identity. And this is something a lot of people don't think about. So many entrepreneurs fail to elevate because they're attached to who they used to be. Who you used to be, not who you need to become, but who you used to be. So some of the examples may be an employee mindset. All right. You can't have an employee mindset as an entrepreneur. It has to be a totally different mind shift. OK, the scarcity thinking. So you have that mindset, or you have the scarcity mentality. The glass is always half empty versus half full. You can't have that as an entrepreneur. OK, and the fear of judgment. Many times as entrepreneurs, people are going to laugh at you. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to be like, why did this guy or this young lady do this when they had this on the other hand? So fear of judgment. But your future requires a version of you guys that your past may not recognize. So what that's basically saying is you're going to have to change and morph into what you need to be to become a successful entrepreneur. So these are some of the things, guys, that we have to focus on as an entrepreneur. Remember, elevation requires separation. Let's talk about distractions and separating from distractions. So we as entrepreneurs, we drown or getting drowned in distractions. How many times have you gone down this internet rabbit hole where you're doing research on one thing? It could be a business idea. It could be whatever. And 30 minutes later, you lift your head up and you're totally somewhere else from where you started. So you got to separate from distractions. So we're drowning in distractions. Social media, right? Now we need to leverage social media for our benefit as entrepreneurs. But many times, you can get stuck on social media, just BSing around, browsing around, and you look up, it's 45 minutes later, and you got what accomplished? Absolutely nothing. So social media noise, we have to separate from those distractions. One of the things that I always say, sometimes less is more, right? So in terms of, I used to listen to not hundreds, but a whole lot of different podcasts, a whole lot of different influencers and gurus. And it finally got to the point where I had to stream that down. I had to cut it down, because you pick out a few people that you feel are viable and are serious, that you vibe with, and then you rock with them, because you can't get distracted. There's so much noise out here, guys, that it is super easy to get distracted. Our attention span right now is getting shorter and shorter by the decade. So separate from distractions. Shiny object syndrome. Oh my goodness. We as entrepreneurs, I know you know this. Let me see a show of hands. I can't see you, but let me see a show of hands. I'm raising mine right now, that get distracted by shiny object syndrome. We see something new, we see something shiny, and then our focus goes away from where it's supposed to be to this new shiny object. And a lot of times that throws us off our track. So we have to separate from that. Also, separating from too many projects. And if we were in a live setting right now, I would raise my hand. Now I enjoy having a lot of balls up in the air because that's the way I operate. But I realize you can't have too many projects. So there's an acronym called FOCUS, right? Follow one course until success. So you may have to separate from too many projects. So elevation, guys, requires focus. So you want to make sure you keep those distractions at bay and you be able to focus. All right. Now, another thing that people really have to understand too is there's a strategic separation and there's an emotional separation. All right. So explain that separation doesn't mean abandoning your family or disrespecting relationships. All right. It basically means protecting your focus and energy. So there's things and people out there that are energy vampires, right? In this world, they're givers and they're takers. Now, we all have some of each, but some people are more givers and some people are more takers. So you have to understand, number one, the strategic separation versus the emotional separation. So that means protecting your focus and energy. If anything or anybody is draining your energy, guess what? You got to put them to the side. I always joke about, hey, I'm going to put you in the corner, right? I can't even focus right now. And what people have to understand as an entrepreneur, I'm going to tell you right now, your energy is key to your success. And if you're an entrepreneur, I don't have to explain this to you. Your energy is key to your success. When you have a gut punch or an energy draining event, that literally takes you off your square. So you have to protect that focus and your energy. So, for example, and you can do that by limiting your exposure. Okay, limiting your exposure. So that may mean, guess what? I'm not going to expose myself to these certain people or certain places or certain things. It could be reducing time spent and creating boundaries. So I had a conversation with one of my first cousins last night. He's like my brother, and he's working on this big entrepreneurial deal, buying a business. And I was telling him, hey, I might meet up with one of our other first cousins. And he says something to me. He said, man, don't mention anything to him about this because I want to keep my energy right. And the reason he said that is our other cousin, it doesn't think that way. And so I get it. He has to protect and create boundaries. And so that's super important, guys. This can derail you more so than anything. Strategic separation versus emotional separation. And basically what it means is, guys, protecting your focus and your energy. If you don't have the focus and you don't have the energy, guess what? I can pretty much guarantee you that you're not going to be successful. Now, let's talk about separating from your environment ceiling. Your environment ceiling. So ceiling means, guess what? You can't go much further than that, right? So your environment determines your growth ceiling. Your environment determines your growth ceiling. So if nobody around you is growing, guess what? You eventually shrink to fit inside that environment. That's why, once again, there's no growth in being comfortable. You have to go outside your boundaries to learn things and grow. So, for example, friends who don't understand entrepreneurship, right? So that's a ceiling. So not that you have to, shoo those guys away, but you have to understand what group you're with and what the conversation is going to be or what it shouldn't be. All right, remember, protecting your focus and your energy. I just talked about that. Family who pushes safety. That's another thing. Or workplace mentalities. So you can't build a different life, guys, while staying in the same environment. So that's why I think it's so key and critical for entrepreneurs to be around entrepreneurs. So a lot of us, myself included, work from our home, which is very convenient. But there are many instances where you want to be at a WeWork or a co-working space because you're around other people that understand what you're going through. And I know from afar, people can say, oh, yeah, I get it. You're an entrepreneur. You don't get it. You don't know. All right. It's the same thing when somebody talked to me about, and if any of you guys listen to the show for long periods of time, my wife and I lost our son to brain cancer at 17 months old. And people would come up to us trying to be nice and say, oh, yeah, I lost my mom. I lost my dad. That has absolutely no correlation to losing a child. OK, so when you talk to somebody that doesn't understand, they meant well. They don't understand because they haven't been in the fire. They haven't been walking in your shoes. They may see you. They may observe you. They may study you. But until they walk in your shoes, they will absolutely not know what you deal with. They can have ideas, but they don't know. All right. So you have to understand that. I always talk about knowledge and know-how. You can gain knowledge by reading a book. You can gain knowledge by watching TV, listening to somebody. And I use the example of flying an F-16 fighter jet. Jay Jones can read the manual. I can go into a flight simulator. I can be in the back of the cockpit while the pilot flies the F-16. Now, I have knowledge of that. But does Jay Jones know how to fly that F-16? No. Know-how comes from doing. So people looking from afar, they may think they know what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur, but it's only their thoughts because they don't have the know-how. They have knowledge of what they think it takes, but not the know-how. Know-how comes from doing. All right. So we're talking about separation from your environmental ceiling, and once again, guys, you have to have the people around you. You have to have the mindset to break through that ceiling, because I'm going to tell you, it's tough, man. It's tough. We all know, if we're sitting here as an entrepreneur, we know it's tough. Okay. So we have to understand separation from your environmental ceiling. Now let's talk about separation from fear. And this is strong, man. Fear keeps entrepreneurs stuck at the same level. Okay. It keeps us stuck at the same level. So there's a lot of types of fear too. You got fear of failure. Oh, what happens if this doesn't work? People are going to laugh at me. They're going to think I'm silly. That's something you got to deal with. That's part of the game. When you sign up for that, that's part of the game. Fear of judgment. Oh, why'd he leave his job? He's an idiot. Why'd he leave his job? He was making good money. Blah, blah, blah. People are going to judge you because they don't understand. Once again, they don't understand because it's not their vision. It wasn't given to them by the creator. It was given to you. The fear of losing stability, which is real. You're walking a tightrope with no net. Okay. The fear of losing stability. And there's also a fear of success too, guys. What happens if I make it? Some people self-sabotage themselves. They may not even know they're doing it. They're right on the precipice or the brink of success, and they sabotage themselves. So there's a fear of success. So fear, guys, isn't a stop sign. It's usually a doorway to your next level. Fear is not a stop sign. It's actually a doorway to your next level. It's a breakthrough point. And it's almost like people are scared to open that door because they don't know what's behind it. But that's actually the key to elevating as an entrepreneur, is going through that door where others don't have the gumption or the courage to step through. You're going to step through. Now, what's on the other side of that door? That's all depends on you. All right. And today, guys, we're talking about there's no elevation without separation. Let's talk about right now temporary loneliness of growth. And I wanted to throw this in there. We know a lot of times as an entrepreneur, man, it's a lonely place, right? We can be super lonely. So when you elevate, guys, these are some of the things that are going to happen. Your circle is going to change. Your circle is going to change. Not because you don't like your old friends, but you're at a different level than you were before. And in order to maintain and excel at that level, your circle is going to change. Another thing that's going to change, guys, is your priorities are going to change. So instead of going out drinking with your boys Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, or whatever you're doing, you may be like, you know what? I need to focus on my business. I need to go and create a new marketing plan. Your priorities are going to change because you understand what your business can do for you. All right. Another thing, guys, in terms of loneliness of growth is your environment changes. Your environment changes. Where you hang out, the things you do, what the people you hang out with. Once again, I strongly recommend, if you're an entrepreneur, find a group of entrepreneurs where you can talk about things. You can hash things out. Find a mentor, somebody that's 5, 10, 20 steps ahead of you that can give you guidance. So temporary loneliness of growth. Also, your lifestyle. I mentioned that. Your lifestyle is going to change, okay? So sometimes the separation is temporary, but the elevation, guys, is permanent. Separation can be temporary, but the elevation is permanent. And that's what we have to focus on. We have to focus on there's no elevation without separation. Now, before we get to the last segment of the show, where I'm going to give you guys some action steps and close everything out, let me just share all my social media contact information and resource links. So I mentioned at the top of the show, guys, if you need access to capital, go to getfundingready.com. Getfundingready.com. It is a short 60-second quiz to find out if your business is ready for funding. We know in our community, we have lack of access to capital. And so this quick quiz is going to tell you where you need to go and what you need to do and some actionable steps. Now, if you want to connect with me, guys, anything long, hit me on my email, jjones@blackentrepreneurblueprint.com. Facebook, go to Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Instagram, I have 2 IG accounts. The first one is J Jones for Real, JAYJONES, the number 4, REAL. Second one is Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, if you want to connect with me on X, Twitter, whatever they call it now, J Jones 001, JAYJONES 001. LinkedIn, connect with me there. Just type in J Jones Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, type in Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. We have additional content on YouTube that is not on the actual podcast episode. Now, wherever you're watching this or listening to this, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we drop a new episode every Monday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, on all your major podcast platforms and YouTube. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and also share the content. If you enjoy the content I've been rocking for these 12 or whatever years it's been, 612 episodes plus all types of events, e-commerce, books, the whole ecosystem, share the information, please. You can share the website, Black Entrepreneur Blueprint. Also, make sure you share the podcast link. So today, let's close out this last segment, guys. Elevation requires separation for entrepreneurs. And we talked about some of the things that separation entails. So we have to understand, guys, that in order to elevate and grow, you're going to have to separate. The biggest thing you're going to have to separate from is your old self to your new self. I did an episode probably about 5 or 6 weeks ago about patterns and productivity. So the patterns that you set, your daily patterns, those are going to help change and elevate your situation. So it's really about changing or creating different patterns. All right. So you have to understand, guys, that first and foremost, it's a mindset. This whole game is mental, and people have to understand that. And if anything is throwing you off your mental, then you need to separate from it. And unfortunately, that could be people, it could be places, it could be things. All right. So you need to focus on that. So let's talk about some action steps for you guys. All right. So first thing I want you to do, guys, is audit your circle. Audit your circle. Who adds value versus who drains energy? Who adds value to you versus who drains energy? All right. And this may be very difficult, because some of the very people, you may be living with some of the people that are draining your energy. You may be laying down every night with some of the people that are draining your energy. So audit your circle. It's super important that who you're around. It's your environment, right? Okay. Audit your habits. Number 2, what habits belong to the old version of you? What habits belong to the old version of you? And how can you get rid of those habits and create new habits for the new version that you need to be to elevate your business? Action step number 3, audit your environment. Is your environment helping you or hurting you grow? Is it helping you or hurting your growth? So if you're in an environment that's not helping you grow, guess what? It's hurting you, right? It's either one or the other. It's either going to help you level up or it's not. So if you're in a household or that's negative, that it's combustible, that it's not good, then you need to go find somewhere else to do your work. Go to the library. Libraries are free. Go do your work there. Go to a coffee shop. What environment are you in? You need to audit your environment. And number 4, guys, protect your focus. Follow one course until success is the acronym, but you have to limit distractions. Limit your distractions. And those are personal distractions, business distractions, be it social media, be it people, be it vices, whatever it is. Protect your focus and limit your distractions. And these are 4 actionable steps, tactical moves that you can make, guys, to help you elevate. All right. Elevation requires separation. Number 1, audit your circle. Number 2, audit your habits. Number 3, audit your environment. And number 4, protect your focus. Because if you don't, guess what? Nobody else will. Okay. So you want to ask yourself, guys, what in your life is holding you at your current level? What's holding you at your current level? Write this down. It could be, whatever it is. Write it down. All right. What are you afraid to let go? Ask yourself, what are you afraid to let go? Because these things might be the exact things that are blocking your elevation. Okay. So ask yourself, what in your life is holding you at your current level, and what are you afraid to let go of? You may be afraid to let go of a situation. It may be a job. It may be a spouse. It may be a partner. It may be a loved one, whatever it is. All right. So what in your life is holding you at your current level, and what are you afraid to let go of? So these are the things, guys, that are going to help you elevate to the next level. Addition by subtraction. Addition by subtraction. Elevation requires separation for entrepreneurs. It's something that's not normal. It's kind of counterintuitive, but these are the type of things that take you from point A to point B as an entrepreneur. I talked about this on probably about a year ago. To get bigger, I have to get smaller. To get bigger, I have to get smaller. In terms of I have to smaller or sharpen my focus to be able to go to the next level. So that's something that's key right there. Being able to sharpen your focus to go to the next level. And I did an episode, I'm getting smaller to get bigger. I wanted to start using more leverage. I wanted to start using more technology and taking, my personal efforts out of the game. Not out of the game totally, obviously, because, you still need that, but using leverage. So that's really the big takeaway today, guys. Being able to separate to elevate. Whatever is not helping you guys is hurting you. And it may be some uncomfortable things that you're going to have to do. There may be some people that you're going to have to, put yourself in a situation where they're not affecting you. And once again, that mindset, that thing that you have to think and deal with every day, that uncertainty as an entrepreneur, right? You have people that are making you doubt yourself. You have people, they're not doing it on purpose because they're just not built and wired the way you are. And I want to leave you with this, guys. Protect your vision. Protect your vision. Your vision was given specifically to you by the Creator. Okay? And you may have to be delusional to get to that vision. But that vision wasn't given to your spouse. It wasn't given to your partner. It wasn't given to your mother, father, brother, sister, friend, or whoever. Recognize and understand that. That vision was given specifically for you. You are built differently than everybody else. God has given you different skills, talents, and abilities and passions different than everybody else. We're all like fingerprints. Everybody is different. So just because somebody close to you doesn't understand your vision, guess what? That vision wasn't designed for that person. Recognize and understand that. The vision is designed specifically for you. I told you what God told me when I was in deep thought and prayer. Keep your head down, keep your mouth shut, and follow the course. Not somebody else's course, my course. Because that vision was given specifically to me. Now, I say this each and every week, guys, because it's true. We get more and more downloads because of you, the BEB family. I appreciate you guys so much. Please continue to spread the word about the podcast, the books, the online courses, the whole ecosystem designed to help you elevate your entrepreneur IQ. Remember, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about us. It's about building an economic power base in the worldwide Black community by building and supporting Black-owned businesses. Love you guys. See you same time next week. Peace.